Hi dear student, we are going to start our online teaching. My name is Mr. Pui, English teacher. So what we have to do at first is to make a general review of all the English tenses. So today we are going to start with the present simple tense. With the present simple tense, what we have to see is at first how to form the present simple and also the context of use for the present simple tense. It means when we have to use the present. So with the present simple tense, to form it, that's easy. Okay? The first thing we have to do is to delete at first the to. And if we have the third person of singular, what we have to do here is to add s to the verb. That's only where the students have problems. If you have the third person of singular, it means if you have he, or we have she, or we have it, so there the student have to add s to the verb. And if the verb ends with o or sh, like that, here what we have to do is to add es to the verbs. For example, if you have the verb to go, to put it into the present simple tense, if we have the third person of singular, it means he, or we have she, or we have it. So here it will be goes. We add es, not s. If we have also a verb that ends with x, or sh, like that, or sh, like that, or s, for example, the verb to fix, for example, the verb to push, for example, to touch, for example, to dress. So here, what we have to do is to add es to the verb. For example, he touches. And for the context of use for the present simple tense, the context of use, it means when we have to use the tense present simple. We use the present simple tense for action that happens in the present time at first. But most of the time, if we have a permanent situation, we use the present simple tense. An example for the permanent situation, for example, I'm from Bargny. What I have to say is, I live in Bargny. Here that is permanent. Permanent because in the future that may change. Maybe in the future I can live in Dakar or in Jurbel or something like that. So here that is what we call a permanent situation. We use also the present simple tense if we have a repeated action. Repeated action in English, that is what we call a habit. A habit. A habit, it means repeated action. For example, something that you do generally or frequently, that is what we call a habit. That's why we need to have there the adverbs of frequency to show people that it's a habit. The adverbs of frequency. As examples of adverbs of frequency, we have always. Something that you do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we use the adverb of frequency always. For example, I always take bath. I always take a bath. That's always. We use also the present simple tense if we have a general truth. If you have general truth, it means something that was true in the past, that is true now, and that will be true in the future. That is what we call a general truth. And as an example, we can say water boils at 100 degrees. That is a general truth. If you go in Europe, if you want to have warm water or hot water, what we have to do is to boil it at 100 degrees. If you go to Asia, if you go to in Africa, that is what we call a general truth. So here is a sum up for the English tense, the present simple tense. So we are going to see now the present continuous tense. The first thing we have to do is how to form the present continuous. To form it also, that's not difficult. We use the auxiliary be, present simple, because we have said present continuous. So we use to be present simple. plus verb plus ing. That is the present continuous. For example, she is explaining a grammar lesson. So we have be, present simple, plus verb and the ing form. That is how to form the present continuous tense. That's not difficult. But now with the context of use, the context of use, it means when we have to use the present simple, the present continuous tense. Most of the time, what we have to keep on our mind is that the present continuous is used for actions that are happening at the moment of speaking. For actions that are happening at the moment of speaking. Right now, what we are doing, refer to the present continuous tense. So here we are doing a grammar lesson. We say, we are doing a grammar lesson. That's what happens at the moment of speaking. So we use the present continuous for actions that happen at the moment of speaking. For example, we are doing a grammar lesson. We use also the present continuous if we have a temporary situation or temporary action. Temporary situation or temporary action. The difference between a permanent situation and temporary is there. For example, me, I'm from Bargny, and I have something to do in Dakar, and I must stay there. So here, what I have to say is, I am living in Dakar. I am living in Dakar, but I live in Bargny. I live in Bargny, it means I'm from Bargny. That is what we call a permanent, a temporary situation. We can use also the present continuous tense if we have a planned action in the future. A planned action in the future, that is what we call generally the near future. The near future. For example, this weekend, on Saturday and Sunday, if we have action that is planned. For example, someone can say, I am doing or I am checking my English grammar. This weekend. This weekend. And the word "this" here is really important. That is what shows us that we have the near future. If we say this weekend, that's near. That's near, the near future. And here we have also what we call the signal words. The signal words or the key words. The words, if you see it in the sentence, most of the time we have to use the tense present continuous. If we have, for example, now, we use the present continuous. If we have right now, if we have just now, if we have at the moment, and something like that, here, what we have to use is the present continuous tense. So now we are going to see the tense, the present perfect simple. Present perfect simple. At first, we are going to see how to form the present perfect simple. That is the first thing we have to do. If you want to form the present perfect, we use the auxiliary have. Present simple because we have said present perfect. So we have to use the auxiliary have present simple. and the past participle of the verb. So we used to have present simple plus the past participle of the verb. The difficult of some students is only here with the past participle of the verb. So here there are two ways. If we have, for example, what we call a regular verb. If you have a regular verb, to form the past participle, we have only to add ed to the verb. For example, if we take the verb to work, maybe, to work. To have the past participle, we say worked. We add ed. But there are some other verbs that are irregular. That is what we call irregular verbs. So here, there is not a set form. What we have to do is only to check the list of irregular verbs. The student must check the list of the irregular verb to know what will be the past participle of the irregular verbs. For example, if you take verb like to go, the past participle here is gone. If we take verb like to write, the past participle is written. That's why we say that there is not a set form. What you have to do is to check the list of irregular verb. So here, as an example of a sentence present perfect, we can say the students have done an exercise. The students have done an exercise. So here we have the present perfect. We have the auxiliary to have present simple and the past participle. To do, we have did, the preterite, and the past participle is done. So now we have the context of use. When we have to use the present perfect tense. The present perfect tense is used for action that started in the past and goes on in the present time. Actions that started in the past and goes on in the present time. There is a link between the past and the present. The past is here. The present is here. So there we have the future. The link between the past and the present is called the present perfect. But now for the signal words, the words that tell us to use this tense in a sentence, we have at first for, we have also things. For, if we have a duration, we use for. If we have a starting point, we use things. For example, I have taught English since 2010. That is the starting point. The starting point. When the action starts, we use things. But if we have a duration, we use for. We have to see when the action starts, 2010. We are on 2020. It means that it is for 10 years. We use also the present perfect tense. If we have already, we use the present perfect simple. If you have also yet, and most of the time yet is put at the end of the sentence. If we have also ever, if we have never, if we have so far, and something like that, here we use the present perfect. For example, with already and never, or ever also. So there the student must know that already or ever or never is always put between the auxiliary and the past participle. For example, she has already done her homework. Already, or ever, or never are always put between the between the auxiliary and the past participle. Has ever done. You say has never done. Has already done. So here is what we have to deal with the present perfect simple.